Okay, I'm going to show you what I've done and how I set this up so I could see what this would look like with the sign and what size it should be. So I took this, photocopied it. So I took the photocopy, set it on this box, and cut it out with this razor knife. And then I set the pattern of the sign up on the piece of plywood I had and put this piece of paper above it.
Now the beauty of projecting this little mock-up that I made is I can see the relationship between the size of the bracket and the size of the sign, so I don't make the bracket too big or too small for the sign itself. Now, one of the things I'm doing here is I'm looking at the distance between the bottom of the bracket and the edges of the sign, and I'm going to keep that extra close right there, I think, so that we don't have too much dead space.
Now I get an even better look at my feather and the sign together, and I can make all my adjustments from here. If I want the support bar a little longer, shorter, thicker, whatever I want to do there. If I want the feather a little smaller, a little bigger, then I have that option at this point. What I have basically is my bracket is to size, and I can work from there visually. Because the feather is a little overpowering for the sign. It's got a lot of weight to it. I might be better off, but I think what I might do is make the feather even smaller than what it is. Here you can see I've started to clean it up a little bit. And I'll just keep refining this more and more till we get it exactly the way we want it. Now I'm going to take this down, and I want to be able to put it back exactly where it was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some pounce pad and just pounce it on there. And then when I take that down, that should show up. I'm going to leave this main sign here, and what I want to do is I want it to fit right back where it was. And as always, it's a good idea to take your tape off and check. Yeah, there's a little bit of a line there. It's enough for me to see. Black would actually work better. So you can see that chalk line right there. So I can put this back exactly where it was. This will help creasing this. We have a crease in the top already. And this edge should be even. So I'd say we're registered in pretty good shape. But that registration is really important if you want to set things back exactly where they were. So what I thought I'd show you right now is I changed the weight of the feather. And by that, I mean, you see this is the old line. So I made it thinner. What I was afraid of was the thickness of this. I call it the weight. Because it's heavier, it weighs more visually. It weighs more than the sign does visually. Okay, so we're just going to throw a pounce on this. You've all seen me do this 100 times, so. Well, maybe not 100, but you know what I mean. For those of you who may have never seen a pounce wheel, got something bad to put it up against. This is a pounce wheel. It has a bunch of little spurs on it. And when you drag it across, it punches holes in the paper. And then we can use concentrate. And then we can use a pounce bag and pounce it on there, and it'll put chalk through right onto the surface. I'm not being too particular with this because I'll draw it the way I want it on the board. You're all going to get so close with pounce wheel anyway. This is more about freehand than anything. Doesn't take very long to pounce. I made sure to go all the way back here because I'm going to be cutting this out of probably MDO. This will be the bottom of the bracket. The reason I'm continuing out here is I started it, so I won't remember where I left off, so I'll just finish it. It'll all be cleaned up and squared up anyway. Okay. Now the piece I'm going to cut is only going to go from probably right here down across, and I'll probably bring it out to here. Even if I have to put a piece, you know, put a little extended piece here. So really the area we're interested in is from here to there, across here and up this side, and actually we're going to be out probably this far. And that's reasonably straight. So that's how far out off in the existing post will be. So flip this over. We've got the pounce at it. Best way to tell if you pounced or forgot to pounce something, flip it over and you'll be able to see all the holes on the back side. Now I think I might run a trace right down through here too. I don't need it for cutting out the actual piece. I'll just put it on there because I have the pounce in my hand at this time. So, and I'll draw that on also. You can see that come out nice. And now we want to run a piece of sandpaper over this. There's a lot of moisture where you're at. What will happen is when this punches through the paper, it leaves all these little fibers sticking up. And in a real moist condition, it will close the hole back over. So what we do is we sand it, cut those off. That just allows the chalk to go through a little better. Okay, let's see how it fits on the piece of wood.